Zimbabwe cash crisis. We're talking about Venezuela once again. Systemic important banks. They removed the 1,000 thing called monetary awareness. Hey there, hope all is well. Today, back at you with some news, and I thought this is very telling of where things are heading, and it happens to be taking place right now, or it's taking place today rather, down in Argentina. I think I did a video a couple months ago referencing how, in my opinion, Argentina unfortunately is heading down the pathway of Venezuela. And so it looks like as of today, due to some primary election type of results that was unexpected, the Argentinian markets crashed, the peso fell, and everything that's of value outside of a peso appreciated nominally in peso terms. And so here's an article here I want to share with you and definitely shine more light on what's happening in Argentina and give you more of my thoughts as to where this is heading. But yet this is one example of many where we have countries around the world facing major issues. Argentina is currently in a recession. Inflation is at 20+% and climbing. There's no end in sight that will result in something beneficial for the public there outside of thinking unconventionally when it comes to your financial matters, in my opinion. But before I dive into this article as well as some other things here, as always,
next recession.
Recession will be
a recession.
We're going to hit a recession.
The date of the next recession.
A U.S.-only recession typically lasts 8 to 10 months.
A crash is coming now, whether it's 6 months from now, 12 months, 36 months, no one knows.
If you have the right plan to set up, you can make a lot of money from this.
So here we have an article from BBC News as of a couple hours ago, and it pretty much tells it all as far as what's happening down there. So it says Argentine peso and markets plunge after shock vote. And so to give you an idea what's going on, the peso dropped significantly. It was almost exchanging for a moment at 60 to 1. Therefore, 60 pesos for $1. And so to give you an idea what's going on here, it says Argentine stock markets and its currency have both plunged after a conservative Argentine president, Mauricio Macri, suffered a shocking defeat in primary elections on Sunday. So Mr. Macri's loss has sparked fears of a change to the market-friendly regime. It says left-wing candidate Alberto Fernandez, who defeated Macri in the primary, is now seen as a front-runner in a presidential election due in October. So here we have the new possible president and the old president, who's the running mate of the possible new candidate. So he has Argentina as a country that has suffered all sorts of economic problems that are taught in textbooks. In just 2 hours, a third of the Merval Index was wiped out in value. So scroll down more, it gives you more insight, but yet I actually want to show you what that looks like. So here we have the actual results of today's activity, where that sell-off hit big time. And so as of close, it was down 37%. So you have the leading economic indicator in reference to the financial markets in the country there, down 37%. And it's good to say that will not be recovering anytime soon. So that clearly right there is one hell of a correction, which is a collapse in their equities market. And then to make it even worse, we have here an article from Quartz. It says investors may regret buying those 100-year bonds from Argentina. And so for those that are not aware, a couple years ago, Argentina basically issued debt that will be due 100 years from now. And so it looks like there's a lot of people who will be heavily defaulted on pretty soon, as this meltdown makes it virtually impossible to actually live up to those promises to repay 100 years from now, nevertheless a couple months from now. So, and to make it even worse, as you scroll down to the bottom, it says, in retrospect, lending money for 100 years to a serial defaulter may not seem wise. Some have qualms at the time. To be fair, you look back in history, I'm not sure we can find a 20-year period where Argentina has not defaulted, one person said from Reuters. So once again, when you're known for defaulting on debt, I'm not sure that was a wise decision, but yet it's all part of the game of keeping this thing propped up. But for those that are in the know, those that are aware of what's going on and positioned to preserve their wealth, here we have in gold, the gold price today. And so as of this morning, gold shot up 18% and it gained 12,379 pesos. And then in silver, it rose 18% and it gained 137.95 pesos. So just having some weight in your possession after all this market correction stuff took place, for those that were sitting a little bit heavier and less dependent upon the digits in the paper, actually did well today. And then to take it even further, here we have the Argentine peso denominated in a single Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin itself started off today at about 515,000 pesos for one single Bitcoin. And it got all the way up to 635,000 And as of this current moment, settled out at about 606,000 pesos for a single Bitcoin. So clearly this is how wealth is transferred from one person that knows the importance of hanging on things outside your national currency as monetary and fiscal policy collide. And then to wrap it all up, here we have walmart.com/AR. And so it's a good way to get an idea of actual prices in the country of Argentina, even though a lot of people may not necessarily shop directly at Walmart because it's considered expensive for your average person whose wages has not gone up while the currency has been heavily devalued and dropping steadily. And so here we have 92 pesos, which at this current moment is about $1.50. But once again, when you are set at a monthly wage amount, which does not increase with the amount of inflation and devaluation of the currency, this stick of deodorant becomes much, much harder to afford. Therefore, people will have to make adjustments and not buy this particular brand. But more importantly, more people in Argentina actually shop at local mom and pops type stores where you'll definitely get prices cheaper because once again, Walmart is an international brand. So their prices, they have more in their stores, but yet it comes at a price. And I imagine Walmart itself is probably not doing a lot of business these days as the currency continues to drop. To wrap this all up, we have Argentine peso dropping. We have the markets plunging. Therefore, there's 40 million or so individuals in the country of Argentina, at which the poverty level is close to 32% or more. So it's sad to say a lot of people are being impacted by the decisions made on their behalf that was triggered today in the devaluation of their currency. So it's events like this that makes a recession turn into a depression extremely quick. And the bad part about this is the government is so corrupt and so chaotic right now that no matter what policies they try to implement, it will not stabilize and reinsert confidence back into the markets in Argentina. Because once again, as the article said, when you know that they're consistently known for defaulting on debt, who in their right mind would lend them money unless they had an ulterior motive, such as the IMF, which just recently gave them a loan a year ago. It's sad to say that as more loans are given, that's more wealth that will be stolen from the Argentinian people, all while they're trying to just live their lives, make a living, and have some type of storage of value, which unfortunately will not be in the Argentinian peso. So just wanted to shine a little light as to what's happening in the country of Argentina today. And then we're only in August, so it's sad to say that by the end of this year, Argentina more than likely will possibly be in a full-out depression, as well as other nations, because this will not be an isolated event. There will be more nations in that region as well as around the world that are impacted by this global economic slowdown, because China and the U.S. trade war situation impacts every single country because the world relies upon China for goods and services, and all the other nations rely upon the Federal Reserve note to be able to pay for those goods and services. And when you got the two leading powers disputing over trade and as well as other issues, it won't fare well for all these smaller nations that are dependent upon the Federal Reserve note at this current moment. So just thought I would shine a little light on this. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment. How bad will this get? Will we see 100 peso to 1 in the next couple of months? Leave your thoughts down below. Look forward to hearing more from you. Thanks.